The big bass are here at Lake Okeechobee, and in a field of veterans, a new face has emerged.
I got her. I got her.
And while sight fishing the beds for big largemouth bass is hot, not everyone can bring them into the boat.
Oh, unbelievable, dude, I missed him again.
Can John Cox hold on for the biggest win of his life?
John Cox with another 5 bass limit today.
Welcome to the first event of the FLW Eastern Series. Hi everyone, I'm Jason Harper, and today some of the best pros in the world are going to put their skills to the test on what is truly one of the most unbelievable bodies of water. The Big O, as a lot of people refer to it, has really been the proving ground for many an aspiring pro. Big names have made it here like David Dudley, Shiniki Fukai, David Fritz, and you can't count out local National Guard pro Scott Martin, who's in the hunt year after year. Today is the all-important cut day where we narrow the field down dramatically. Only the top 5 anglers will survive to fish on the final day. So for the other 145 anglers, the tournament ends today.
And a pretty comfortable lead for local pro John Cox, who's led since day one. Scott Martin hot on his heels, but take a look at 3rd through 10th. They're all bunched up, and you know on Lake Okeechobee, it can produce 20-pound stringers on any given day, so it's really important not to let up.
I'm in 8th place going into day 3. Gonna make top 5 for the cut. So I'm looking at probably needing 13 pounds or so to probably make that cut.
Staying with the same thing I've been doing, just flipping and throwing a skinny dipper on top and doing a little sight fishing.
I think the big ones are going to move up and commit. We didn't have a real cold night last night. The water temperature is going to stay up in the mid to high 60s, and it's going to be good.
Located in the southern half of Florida, Lake Okeechobee is thick with grass, and some recent rains have filled it with much-needed water. But this has caused the fish to be spread out across the flats as they start coming into spawn.
I'm excited about today. I've got some good areas that I'm going to concentrate on. I'm just fired up about it. You know, I'm like one of those stallions in the gate right now. I'm pawing and clawing, and I mean, I've got a bloody nose and I'm ready to get after it. So I'm excited. So it's going to be a good day.
Scott Martin's optimism, though, isn't felt by everyone. In fact, many a well-thought-out game plan will really be put to the test today as 150 pros and their co-anglers prepare to fan out across the water in search of 5 quality bites.
Been having to be really patient with these fish all week. A lot of them that, you know, first one I caught the first day was about 6.5. I made a pitch out in front of the boat and it come over and ate it. Caught it before it hit the bottom, but the rest of them since then, they've been real tough to catch them.
John Cox, a local sight fishing specialist, wants to compete against the very best in the sport, and he's certainly doing that in this tournament. He's seeing and catching fish that no one else has been able to find. Meanwhile, Goodwill pro Chad Grigsby sits in 13th place, and like every seasoned pro knows, one big bite could vault him into the top 5.
Sucks. I just wanted to come in here and catch a big one, and I lost him. It's a lot harder after you stick a hook in their face and they get off to catch them again, though. When you waste opportunities, it's not young anymore. It gets frustrating.
Frustrating is the word when you're around so many big fish, yet unable to execute and bring them into the boat. Scott Martin's morning has seen its share of frustration, but his area has enough fish to give him some options.
And there's another one. These are just little ones, and I hadn't really been fooling with the little ones in the tournament. But I've had a little bit of a rough morning so far. I need to catch a couple of these fish just to get a little bit of weight behind me. I've had just a rough morning. I've missed one real big one and 2 other decent ones, a total of about 7 fish already this morning. There's a male there. It's about a 2-pounder. but the female was bigger, and I don't want to catch that fish yet, because if I do, then the female will leave. I really want the female, so I'd rather leave that male, even though it would help me.
Sometimes what'll happen is come across a bed and you can barely see it and you don't see any fish, and if you just give it a second or so, that fish may come back. But it's nice to find them when they're really locked onto these spawning beds, and then they're like targets. They're like catching fish in a barrel. If I was a betting man, I'd say the fishing's gonna get better as the day goes on. Which direction do you go? There's a bed right there. You can tell the mood of the fish. What I like to do personally when I find a fish like this is to see how committed they are to the bed, and you know, that one swam off. Looking for fish and just fishing new areas every day as I'm doing, it's like Easter egg hunting. It's like you're a little kid looking for Easter eggs. This is the ultimate in looking, and when you do find one, it's like you've just won the lottery.
Back now to our leader, John Cox, who's found another fish in the tea-stained water and is patiently working the bed to entice a bite.
Oh, I hate that. Get them ready and then make the wrong pitch and start back over again. I just want to make it till tomorrow, because tomorrow they're gonna be swimming up in just a big swarm of them. It's gonna be in here. Hey, grab the net. Got to swing her in. Little old 2-pounder. Is that big enough?
Oh, there's a bass. Yeah, 2.
The nerves are setting in on cut day.
Bed fishing will make you bite your nails.
And while some are missing key bites, the leader is not. Stay tuned to FLW Outdoors.
Net.
FLW Outdoors from Lake Okeechobee is brought to you by National Guard, always ready, always there. Ranger, still building legends one at a time. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter of hunting, fishing, and outdoor gear. Chevy Silverado, meet the heavier duty heavy duty. The new 2011 Chevy Silverado HD has been improved in all the places that matter, and it could be yours to win. And by Rapala, your best shot at a world record. Welcome back to Lake Okeechobee and the first stop of the FLW Series National Guard Eastern Division. 150 pros and co-anglers are battling it out on the water with a top prize of $50,000. After a couple of days of competition, it's cut day, and only 5 will fish on the final day of the tournament. While a lot of the guys may not have a game plan, Scott Martin has a plan that does include fishing tomorrow.
I've got 3 really small fish right now. I've got a limit. I've got 3 that I have to get rid of. They're really tiny. And there's a fish here that would help me quite a bit. But I'm actually wanting to leave a lot of these fish on the beds because it's a full moon right now. And if you take this fish and take it away, then tomorrow, if I make the top 5, there might not be a female here. So I'm leaving some of these males on the beds and not messing with them, trying to keep them around so they get the females interested. Then I'm going to go back and fish over top of these areas with top water. And I've been catching a couple big fish each day. Net.
For Bob Azumi, who described bed fishing as an Easter egg hunt, his basket is still empty. But he isn't letting that bother him.
I think that down here, a bass boat on Lake Okeechobee is part all-terrain vehicle. Man, these guys will run through this thick stuff like I've never seen before. Guys are either out there or in on the inside, so I sort of took the in-between water. Oh, there's a bass. Yeah, 2. No, 1.
I've been catching a 7+ pounder every day, and I've already had 1 7-pounder bite me this morning. I missed it, so I really feel like I'm going to get a big fish here in a minute.
Currently in second place, a very confident Scott Martin has an area all to himself in the south end of Okeechobee, close to his hometown of Clewiston.
Got it. All right. I changed baits. Changed baits and that fish instantly bit it. And that's what you have to do sometimes when you're bed fishing, is change up a little bit. And that went to a brush hog right in the roof of the mouth.
It's weigh-in time at Okeechobee's fantastic new facility, the Scott C. Driver Marina, and it's time for these pros to see just where they ended up today. The FLW Series Eastern Division has only 4 events over the course of the year, and only the top 10 pros of the season will qualify for the 2011 Forest Wood Cup. So, a high finish here can mean a lot more than just a paycheck.
We need 9 pounds, 10 ounces to make the top 5. 13 pounds, 13 ounces. Give him a big round of applause. Moves all the way up to second place with 47 pounds, 13 ounces. Looks like we might be going fishing tomorrow.
Tom Mann finished in the top 5 last year at Okeechobee and is the reigning Angler of the Year in the Eastern Division. He's back at it with another impressive 3-day stringer.
If I make the cut, I'm going to probably go fish somewhere that I haven't even fished in the tournament because I know the weather tomorrow, the wind's going to blow, it's supposed to rain. It's not conducive for sight fishing. That's what I've been doing all week. So I'll probably have to just go somewhere and do some different things and, just really go for broke and try to win the tournament.
Shiniki Fukai came in with a 19-pound, 2-ounce limit, moving him way up from 59th place. And he says his area has more kickers if he can get a chance to fish it.
I found a honey spot today, so I want to fish tomorrow.
Castrol pro David Dudley also found big bass locked on beds, but he's not counting on his weight to be enough.
We need 15 pounds, 10 ounces to make the top 5. Today's weight, 17 pounds, 15 ounces, puts him at 42.7. He does sit in the hot seat. Great job in 5th spot.
I'll cross my fingers, but Okeechobee, just like I made a comeback today, I think a lot of other people will do the same thing.
I just got off stage day 3. I had 14 pounds. My total weight's 47 pounds, and I'm in 2nd place. Right now, I hope it holds up because I'd love to go fishing tomorrow, too.
Canterbury's 14-plus pounds should have been enough to stay in the cut, but Georgia pro J. Todd Tucker brought in the day's heaviest limit, weighing in at 21 pounds, 9 ounces, and pushing Scott out of the cut by just 8 ounces. And while Chevy pro Anthony Gagliardi couldn't match his day 1 stringer, he's hoping his 3-day weight of 49 pounds, 8 ounces will solidify his position in the top 5.
I had one big one here at the end of the day. If I'd have had another 20 minutes, I think I could have caught her. It was about a 6-pounder. So, I definitely have something to fish for if I get to go out there tomorrow. It's just a matter of whether I can get him a bite or not.
For John Cox, his day 3 saw him weigh in his first bag under 20 pounds, but he still managed to put some distance between himself and the rest of the field.
14 pounds, 2 ounces, a new tournament leader with 62 pounds, 1 ounce. Give him a big round of applause. Great job.
You never know what's going to happen. That's fishing. You go out one day and kill them next day. I think tomorrow's going to be good. If the wheels fall off, oh well, it wasn't meant to be. It was meant for someone else to win. So.
The pros weren't the only ones bringing in the big bass. On the co-angler side, competition was red hot, and Jeff Cummings thought his big catch might get him a win.
Jeff Cummings, you need 9 pounds, 15 ounces to win this event. Today's weight, 7 pounds, 11 ounces. George Capitan, you are our tournament winner. Congratulations.
Congratulations to George Capitan for his Okeechobee victory.
So a nice move by J. Todd Tucker puts him in 4th place, but take a look at the lead that John Cox has over a very impressive final 5.
I wish I had my lead was a little bigger, but I'll take the 11 pounds right now.
It's final day action from Lake Okeechobee, and the chase is on to catch tournament leader John Cox.
And that needs to be my small one today. Yes.
Welcome back, everyone, to FLW Outdoors. So after 3 days of intense on-the-water competition, the warm weather and rising temperatures have really turned this into a sight fishing slugfest. We've got an impressive top 5 on this final day, including one pro who's just returned after a 2-year hiatus. Let's meet him and the rest of our pros right now.
I just would really like to win one, and just to say I've won one and know that I can do it for the next ones, just to break that barrier. No!
Taking a break from fishing after the birth of his first child, John Cox has had 2 seasons away from tournament fishing to think about being in the position that he is right now, leading the tournament going into the final day. And now he has the chance to prove that his best fishing is ahead of him.
I feel good. I wish I had my lead was a little bigger, but I'll take the 11 pounds right now, and hopefully we'll go out there and kill them today. The old spinner bait will pay off.
I've grown up on this lake. I've fished so many tournaments in this lake, big FLW events. I've come in the top 10 a lot of times, had chances to win, and I just want to win. I'm due to win on this lake. I want to win more than anything. It's not about the money. I mean, they can keep the money. I just want the trophy.
Scott Martin has had so many close finishes at Lake Okeechobee that you have to wonder when it's going to finally happen. The son of fishing legend Roland Martin has made winning at the Big O a top priority, but it will take a stellar day on the water to catch John Cox.
But I want to win this thing bad, for sure. I really, really do, you know, more than anything.
Nobody understands the drive to win more than Anthony Gagliardi. In 2009, he won the FLW Tour event at Table Rock Lake and finished second to Scott Martin at Lake Champlain. The 2006 Angler of the Year understands how important it is to finish strong.
It's great to be able to start the year off on a positive note. Like coming down here making the top 5 really sets the tone for the year, hopefully, so it gives you a little bit of momentum, going into the start of the season, which is always good.
Gagliardi's final 5 appearance here is a solid start to the 2010 season.
It's a 4-day tournament. Some people don't understand how hard it is to catch fish 4 days in a row under different circumstances every single day.
J. Todd Tucker is a versatile angler from Moultrie, Georgia, who stormed into 4th place after bringing in 21 pounds and 9 ounces on day 3. When he's not fishing, he's bird hunting and finds there are similarities between the two sports.
It's like running bird dogs. I mean, every dog has its own personality. Every fish on the bed has its own personality.
The steady personality and consistent fishing of Tom Mann Jr. led him to the FLW Eastern Series Angler of the Year title in 2009. He finished 5th place last year on Lake Okeechobee, and this year he'd like to do a little better.
You know, when you're in a position I'm in, I can't go do any worse than 5th place. So listen, I'm going to go out here and try to catch me 5 big ones and see what happens.
Take a look at the spread that John Cox has. Anyone hoping to catch him is going to have a monster limit when they come back in this afternoon.
This area of the lake is down on the south end, and it's close to Clewiston, which is where I live. And it's just a big grass flat. Good thing about down here, on the days that it blows out of the south, you're protected. I mean, it's a 15, 25 miles an hour out of the southwest today, and it's dead slick in here. All right, we're getting into the little zone here. Every day I've caught a couple big fish right in this area here, and I missed a couple real big ones yesterday. So I need to be really on my game right now. Okay, see, I missed that fish on a frog, and I flipped a worm in there and caught that fish. He's just barely a keeper, but he's a keeper.
Finding a place out of the wind has sent Ranger Pro J. Todd Tucker on to the lee side of a tall reed line.
Got it. I got him. That's what it takes right there. Just a little patience inside the mouth. You can see that big 5/0 hook when that little bitty brush hog, that little brush hog just doesn't have a lot of plastic on it. And on that big 5/0 hook, it'll pin them right in the head, and they don't get off that way, and it don't hurt them. It's a good way to start the day. Nice 2 3/4 pound bass.
There's a few fish in here. The beds are up under these mats. You gotta clear the mats out so you can catch them. Go. All right. I can still catch them. Man. One of them giant Okeechobee bass there. Man. Gotta love that.
John Cox starting a little slow, but he'll have plenty of chances at a giant.
I got it.
Can Scott Martin and the rest of the field keep up? Stay tuned to FLW Outdoors to find out.
I really need him today, so I'm glad I got him. Thank you, buddy.
It's the final day of fishing on Lake Okeechobee, the first event of the FLW Eastern Division presented by the National Guard. There are 5 anglers left, and 4 of our final 5 would like a fish just like the one that Anthony Gagliardi is putting in his boat.
Big open area here. It's got a lot of hydrilla, it's known for a lot of fish, a lot of bedders coming in here, and I haven't really been able to see them that good this early, but that bed was so clean I could make her out. Ooh, I'll take that for a start. Biggest first fish I've caught in a tournament, so maybe that's a good sign.
A steady wind of 20 miles per hour and the sun low in the horizon isn't helping Tom Mann Jr. find any beds either.
We'll find one here in a minute. It was about noontime before they showed up yesterday. You know, this is my primary area. This is the area that I've caught most of my fish in all week. And I got just a little topwater bait on, just kind of a search bait as I'm looking for fish to, sight fish. And I just kind of throw this bait out in front of me. But really, it's a small area, and I think I fished it out. But the wind's got this place torn up too, so we're not going to stay in here very long. It's going to be tough in here. I'm probably going to have to change up and try some other things.
I guess there's a reef or some kind of rocks out in front of this. A northwest wind, I mean, it was blowing like 25 in here and it was still clean. I figured, southwest would be all right too, but the rocks must not run all the way out that way, I guess.
The heavy southwest wind is leaving few unprotected areas to find bedding fish. That, along with increased cloud cover, leads J. Todd Tucker to believe the bite is going to be very tricky today.
The fish just seem like they're in a different mood today. The wind is blowing. It's extremely hard today. This is the worst day for sight fishing we've had since we've been here this week. Pulled up there and this fish, I think he's there. I can't really see him, but I think he's there. And so I take a bait and I flip it back in there, and I'm just trying to hit something. I'm hitting the bottom. I'm trying to hit the fish to make him move so I can actually see him. And one good little pop, I did hit him, and he turned on his side, and I saw the flash, and that's when I knew he was there. See, he's hooked on the inside of the mouth, right at the top of the lip. This fish was basically, look, the hook just came out. This fish was basically the same, set up the same way. I caught this fish yesterday. I came in here and I was looking for a big fish. I had about 19.5 pounds, and I pulled up and there was like a 4-pounder just off the bed. And this fish bit and I caught him with a female left. So anyway, he didn't call anything, and I put him back, but he didn't come back either. But today he did, and I really need him today, so I'm glad I got him. Thank you, buddy.
And while J. Todd is hoping to upgrade before the day is through, Ranger Pro Tom Mann Jr. is still looking to find a fish that will even keep. He's been on the short pattern for the last 30 minutes. No doubt the wind has changed the way the lake is fishing. And National Guard Pro Scott Martin, who knows this lake better than anyone, knows why.
Well, here's what happens on Lake Okeechobee when the wind blows over 20, which is blowing over 20 right now. This lake's so big and round that you get a wind tide. So what's happening is it's sucking the water out of the south end. So it's actually 6 or 8 inches shallower today, which improves the bite, makes the fish react better. And it's the opposite on the north end. It actually pushes a foot of water or so up on the north end. So these guys that were sight fishing in 3 foot of water, now they're trying to look another extra foot deep, which is hard. And you've got the waves and the wind pushing in, and a lot of times, depending on how far back you are, the water's gonna muddy up too. So these guys that are sight fishing might not even be able to see anything. Yes. 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 Like it. Look at that trocar hook, man. That's why I throw that thing. It's like a gaff. Look at that big hook. That's a 7/0 trocar right in the hard part. I mean, that fish wouldn't have got off in a week. Thank you, Lord. That's a good one. I need 5 of these. I need that needs to be my small one today. Yes. Thank you, Lord. Right.
Scott Martin is starting to feel
Yes.
it, boating a nice keeper. And while Anthony Gagliardi and J. Todd Tucker are also on the board with decent fish, John Cox and Tom Min Jr. are still adjusting to the conditions in search of a big bite.
Welcome back to the Big O. Next to Lake Michigan, Lake Okeechobee is the second largest freshwater lake in the country. And when it comes to fishing, there are more largemouth bass per square acre than any other body of water. So you'd think these anglers could find fish just about anywhere. But our top 5 have really narrowed it down to 2 main areas.
Scott Martin made the long run down to the south end of the lake near his hometown of Clewiston and has been protected from the wind that the rest of these pros find themselves dealing with along the North Shore. For tournament leader John Cox, it's made his key areas unfishable.
You know, just nothing was working. Just that mud from the lake would just slowly worked its way in there and just ruined that spot. So decided to go find some clean water, and I only knew one spot that was clean, so we ran to it. Number 3, finally! I guess everybody overlooked this little spot being so close to the ramp. There's no giants in here, but get a few more of these, you know, I might be in good shape. Oh, man.
While John Cox struggles to find a better quality spawning bass on the bed, Anthony Gagliardi is racing to get 5 in the boat before the sun disappears behind the growing clouds, making these beds even harder to find.
I'm just throwing a soft plastic jerk bait. There's a lot of shiners, and there's a lot of big shad swimming around in the shallow water now, and I think these bass are getting a little bit wary, and they seem to be reacting to a minnow type bait like this better than a craw or some of the more traditional bed fishing baits like tubes and things like that. So I've pretty much been sticking with with shad imitations or bluegill imitations, swim baits, and I can get them to where they're going to bite a lot sooner, I feel, by using these type baits. Not to say you couldn't catch them on a tube or something like that, I just think it takes a little bit longer.
The best way to land big bass when you can't find their beds is by throwing a topwater bait across the grass. Ranger Pro J. Todd Tucker has more on the hot bait on Okeechobee.
What we're around is a lot of beds and a lot of cane and Kissimmee grass and hydrilla. And we're just throwing a skinny dipper, which is a swim bait made by Reaction Innovation. When they hit it, you'll hear it. It'll just explode. We put a little bullet head in the front of it right here. It's got a screw-in weight. That bullet weight saves your bait. It keeps the plastic up on top of the hook. It keeps it straight, and you can just force it through that cover, and it makes those bait, those fish around those beds react to it real well. There's one. Oh, got it again. This bait's got a real nice design here for hiding the point of that hook to come through cover well. You just take and pick it up and cover that hook up, and it just comes right across the top of that grass.
We're halfway through and take a look at the lead that John Cox has. Scott Martin has cut that lead almost in half, but it's still comfortable over the rest of the field. Scott has wanted a win here on Okeechobee for years, but to catch John Cox, he's going to have to maximize his opportunities.
You know, all week I've kind of shied away from trying to literally see them and catch them sight fishing. When you get that close to them in shallow water, they're harder to catch. It takes a lot of time. So I've been casting. I've really been making long casts with topwater baits in the grass, and I'm going to get 10 or 15 big bites in the course of a day. What's another giant one, dude? This is one of those days you kind of dream about. Last day of the tournament, need to catch a huge bag to win. I don't know if he's on or not. He's off. He's off. And it kind of turned into a nightmare in the sense of the fish that I lost today. And oh my gosh, dude. Big one right in there. Oh my gosh. That's the biggest strike I've had yet. Oh my God! Man, it would just been so unbelievable to actually have these fish in the boat today, because it would have just been a mega bag, one of the biggest bags probably on this lake's ever seen.
Determined not to give up, Martin continues casting at the giant Okeechobee bass roaming the grass flats. Now over to Tom Mann Jr. He has 4 in the live well and is working on filling out his limit with a quality keeper.
Let it go. Get him out of there. There we go. Got him on a little Yamamoto tube. Fish was on the bed there, and I didn't know if it was going to bite or not, but pretty nice, 3.5 pounder, nice fish. Little camo Yamamoto tube. Fell out the boat. That made 5, so let's go find us a big one.
The final hours of the final day on the best bass fishing lake in the world. You don't want to miss how this one turns out. FLW Outdoors continues right after this.
Oh God. Stay on, baby. Stay on. Oh man, I gotta get that net.
FLW Outdoors is brought to you by Chevy. Every model is backed by a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Evinrude E-Tech. With 3 years, no maintenance, spend more time on the water. LOWRANCE and the HDS high-definition system with structure scan add-on option. Goodwill. Donate, shop, and support your local Goodwill. U.S. Bank. Proud sponsor of FLW Outdoors. And by Castrol. Maximum sludge protection for maximum performance.
I got an 11-pound lead, so I mean, if I get 6 pounds, that's like me bringing in, 17 pounds.
I just want to win. I'm due to win on this lake. I want to win more than anything. It's not about the money. I mean, they can keep the money. I just want the trophy.
I got a little bit of a mountain to climb to overtake the first place spot, but even that's not totally out of the question here.
Some people don't understand how hard it is to catch fish 4 days in a row.
I can't go do any worse than 5th place. Listen, I'm going to go out here and try to catch me 5 big ones and see what happens.
Only a few hours left, and John Cox's 11-pound lead to start the day has shrunk considerably. He knows he needs to put a sizable fish in the live well and do it soon.
I got it. Oh no, not the right one. I thought that was the 4-pounder. Yeah, number 5. Let me measure him just in case. It just seems like everything's acting weird. I've never been so happy to catch a 1.5 pounds forever. I don't think it's enough, but hopefully, We'll get a couple big ones here before the day's over.
I can still pull this thing off. That's the thing about Lake Okeechobee. You know, you go to some lakes in the country and there's good fishing. In certain little places, you know, there might be one school of fish. I'm in a big bay here. Honestly, I bet there's 10,000 fish between 7 and 10 pounds right in here. That was the other one. That was the one that I thought was the 10 that came back. I was right. I'm glad I turned around. John Cox, I'm gonna tell you right now, buddy, if you win this tournament, you better watch, because I missed over 30 pounds of bass today. I'm gonna still catch them. But I would have had all-time record weight on Lake Okeechobee today if I'd have landed the ones that just got off. Promise you. Oh my gosh! That was a big one. He's gonna get it. Unbelievable, dude, I missed him again. I missed him. What am I doing wrong, man? What am I doing wrong? Please, Lord, let me catch this fish. Right there, that's a catch. Oh my gosh. I got her. Look at that big mouth on that fish, dude. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. That's what I've been missing, dude. These type fish, man. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I prayed, man, that I would, 3 times that fish bit, and I prayed. I said, Lord, please let me catch this fish. I threw in there, had grass on my bait. Look, and I got her, man. I've had 5 or 6 fish this size or bigger hit me today.
And with a tremendous effort, Scott Martin has a bag approaching 20 pounds. The question remains though, will it be enough? He's not the only competitor looking to make a run at the top spot. Anthony Gagliardi is on yet another quality bed.
A problem that you run into sight fishing is it's hard to find sight fish. You can't find enough sight fish in practice, you know, that'll last you 4 days. And so you have to be in an area that has fish moving in. I mean, if you're not able to catch any new fish that come in on the bed, at most you're going to get a check in the tournament, and that's it. You're not going to have a chance to win, or you know, I don't think even make the top 5. I mean, you gotta be fishing in an area that's got fish coming into it.
For John Cox, this could be his last chance to close the door on the rest of the field.
I got her. I got her. Oh, God. Stay on, baby. Stay on. Oh, man, I got to get that net. I don't even know if she's still on there. I think she come off. She come off. Oh, my God. How'd she come off? Holy crap. No sight fishing. Sack them up the first day or 2 and then you're done.
It was cloudy and it was really windy. Sight fishing just didn't pay off. And we're fixing to quit fishing here in just a minute and head back.
With time running out, our anglers prepare to return to the weigh-in. Stay tuned for the exciting finish up next.
Told the old lady, I said, you know, we'll get married when I win one of these things. I don't know, she was all excited, but I don't know now. She might be pretty mad at me when we get in there, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Here's how we started the day with an 11-pound lead for pro John Cox from DeBerry, Florida. The crowd has gathered at Gilbert Chevrolet in downtown Okeechobee, Florida to see if he can hang on for the biggest win of his life. First to the scales to see if he can topple Cox is Tom Mann Jr., the reigning Angler of the Year in the FLW Series Eastern Division. The Ranger Pro struggled to find fish early, but was able to locate 5 fish for his live well, including a 3-pound kicker.
He needs 14 pounds, 5 ounces to take the lead. He's got a 5-bass limit here, the weight a total of 10 pounds, 11 ounces, 10-11. Not enough to take the lead, but moves Tom Mann Jr. into second place.
For J. Todd Tucker, his best fishing happened on day 3 as the bite today proved too tough for him to threaten a win. But he was able to move ahead of Tom Mann Jr. in the standings.
He's got 5. Total weight, 10 pounds, 13 ounces, not enough, but does move him up 58-14 into second place.
Cox is feeling better about his chances, but he knows the biggest challenge to his victory will come from the next 2 anglers, starting with Chevy Pro Anthony Gagliardi.
Right now, Anthony Gagliardi needs 12 pounds and 10 ounces to remove John Cox from the hot seat.
Anthony's day didn't start well, losing that big one early. But his day improved as he pounded away at the beds and put 5 quality fish in the boat. He started the day with a 12-pound, 9-ounce deficit. Will his limit give him enough to overtake the lead?
12-10 to take the lead. He's got 5. Total weight here. 13 pounds, 14 ounces, a new leader, Anthony Gagliardi.
And so John Cox has to move out of the hot seat until he brings his bag to the scales. But Anthony Gagliardi isn't the only pro who wants to win. Scott Martin is ready to make his move, and he proceeds to pull out some monster bass to get this crowd fired up.
He does have Scott Martin with a 5-bass lead. Scott Martin again needs 12 pounds, 1 ounce to take over the lead. 20 pounds, 3 ounces, a total of 71.9. Scott Martin is your leader.
It's now up to John Cox to see if he'll have enough to climb back in the lead.
You can't see good enough. Come on down where you can see it real close. Come right over here. He needs 9 pounds and 9 ounces.
I heard you, Charlie. I'm nervous. I'll tell you what, I got butterflies in this deal.
All right. Are you ready? You ready?
Let's get it on.
If there were ever a time that an angler could will his fish to grow, it's now, as Cox's fish are looking even smaller than he feared.
We have 4 fish, 1 shy of the limit. 3 pounds, 11 ounces for $50,000. How you doing?
They just turned into like buzzards. They're as big as buzzards now.
See number 5. He's got 5, but the total weight of those 5, 7 pounds, 4 ounces, 7.5, 7.5, 69.6. Scott Martin is our champion.
To win it is just such a relief to know that I pulled it off. You know, here on my home lake. I mean, I've strived for so many years to win on this lake and come close so many times. To win here is so special to me. The spot I had was phenomenal. Every fish I caught in this event was in an area that I've never fished a tournament before. It's just an area, so the levels in this lake are always different. The grass is thicker and thinner based on each year. So that's what makes it fun, and that's what makes it so hard to win. I don't have secret spots out there, but I do understand how to catch fish in Florida. That's my advantage. I understand weather conditions and what it's going to do to them. So that's my advantage for this event, not the locations.
What a way to kick off the first event of 2010. It was a long time in the waiting for National Guard Pro Scott Martin. Congratulations for being the Lake Okeechobee champion. For more information or on-the-water footage, go to FLWOutdoors.com. Make sure to tune in right here on Versus Country every week for more action just like this.